In 2010, the company InGen was doing experiments with dinosaurs on an island. A scientist dropped a candy wrapper, and it got sucked into the door system. This broke the doors and made them restart. Everyone ran away, but one scientist went back to close the door before a dinosaur could get out. Another worker got trapped inside and asked for help, but his friend didn't open the door. A big dinosaur grabbed the trapped man and killed him. By 2027, dinosaurs had been around for 17 years. Most of them died from Earth's diseases and weather. People got bored of them. The ones still alive lived near the hot parts of Earth. No humans were allowed to go there. In New York, Martin was stuck in traffic because a big apatosaurus was blocking the road. A woman named Zora got in his car. She was a soldier for hire. Martin's drug company needed dinosaur blood to make heart medicine. They wanted Zora to go get it from the forbidden area. She said no at first, but changed her mind when Martin offered lots of money. They went to a museum to meet Dr. Henry. He was closing the dinosaur show because no one came anymore. Martin wanted Henry to come with them to take blood samples while Zora protected them. Henry said they needed blood from the biggest dinosaurs because they had the strongest hearts. He picked the Titanosaurus from land, the Mosasaurus from water, and the Quetzalcoatlus from the sky. The dinosaurs had to be alive when they took the blood.
3 dinosaurs they need are Mosasaurus.
Henry didn't want to go, but Martin said he could study real dinosaurs. The next day they flew to Suriname and met Duncan, Zora's old friend. He had a boat, but wanted to quit because it was too dangerous. Martin gave him more money to stay. Duncan knew how to avoid the government boats. Henry showed them special darts that could get through dinosaur skin if shot from 10 feet away. The darts took blood samples by themselves and only worked once.
So, first sample in 150 miles or so? Very close to the equator.
At the same time, a man named Ruben was on a boat trip with his daughters Isabella and Teresa, and Teresa's boyfriend Xavier. Teresa saw fins in the water and thought they were dolphins, but they looked wrong. Something big hit their boat and swam away. Ruben checked for damage but found none. Then the creature came back. It was a huge Mosasaurus. It hit the boat again and almost flipped it. The boat started sinking and everyone jumped in the water. Xavier got trapped inside but found the emergency bag with a radio. He kicked the door open and swam out. The boat flipped over completely. Xavier saw the Mosasaurus underwater and swam fast to reach the others. The big sea monster followed him, but then swam under the boat and left. The next morning, Duncan's crew heard the family's help call on the radio. Martin and the security chief Bobby wanted to ignore it, but Zora said they should help. Duncan agreed, and they changed course. Ruben shot a flare when he saw their boat coming, and they rescued the family. Zora asked why the Mosasaurus attacked a random boat. Henry said it might have seen the boat as a threat. The family asked why they were looking for the beast, but the team didn't tell them. Suddenly, their radar beeped and the Mosasaurus hit their boat too. The dinosaur jumped out of the water. Zora got ready to shoot while Henry tied her to the deck. Duncan made the boat go fast. Zora shot her dart, but missed when the Mosasaurus jumped again. The beast got closer, so Duncan had to turn the boat quickly. Henry gave Zora another dart, but the dinosaur pushed the boat and she fell. She held on with her legs and Henry helped her up. This time, she hit the creature with the dart. It took the blood sample and popped out with a small parachute. Henry caught it. The crew was happy, and Zora and Henry put the blood in a cold case. Henry said he was having doubts about the mission. He knew the company would only give the new medicine to rich people, and he thought science should help everyone. Then they saw the Mosasaurus come back with several Spinosaurus dinosaurs. Henry was amazed that these two types of dinosaurs were working together. Bobby ran outside with a gun and started shooting, but he missed every shot. He moved to get a better angle, ignoring Duncan's warnings. A Spinosaurus jumped out of the water behind Bobby and grabbed him with its teeth before going back into the sea. Then the Mosasaurus jumped again, and when it landed, it shook the boat so hard that co-pilot Nina almost fell overboard. Isabella slides off the room and almost falls through the railing, so Ruben hurries to grab her hand and hurts his leg in the process. He pulls her back up before the Mosasaurus takes a bite and only gets the railing. The boat manages to get back in position, and Nina gets to safety. Duncan turns the boat toward the rocks, because dinosaurs can't enter shallow waters. Zora thinks they'll likely crash, so she gets all the life jackets ready while Henry secures the sample and some supplies. Teresa gets on the radio and tries to call for help, but Martin rushes to stop her without explaining that they're doing something illegal. When Teresa pushes him off, she slips back and falls over the edge. She manages to hold on, however Martin doesn't help her, and she ends up falling. Xavier immediately grabs a rescue can and jumps into the water to go after her. Thinking the boat would sink, Ruben Reuben put a life jacket on Isabella, and they jumped into the water too. The Mosasaurus hit the boat again, pushing it against a rock and dragging it to damage it more. Henry and Zora had to hide from the rock while the engine exploded, knocking down crew member Leclerc. Duncan kept the boat moving and reached shallow water. Everyone jumped out while the Mosasaurus swam away. The boat crashed into the shore and got stuck on rocks. The team swam to shore with their supply bags. When Nina tried to grab one bag, a Spinosaurus surprised her from behind and caught her in its mouth. The others could only watch as it took her body away. Martin told the team they couldn't predict what they would find on this island because all the dinosaurs here were changed by InGen's old experiments. Zora cut the fence around the jungle so they could explore.
So this island was a laboratory of sorts. They conducted experimental work here.
She said she had arranged for a rescue helicopter to come if they didn't call in 24 hours. It would only stay for 2 minutes at sunset, so they had to finish before then. After walking for a while, they had to go through a swamp to keep moving. Zora asked Martin about Teresa's fall, but Martin said he didn't see anything. She kept feeling something touch her leg, but only when they reached the other side did a huge eel jump out and scare them. It left without attacking. They kept walking, and Martin stopped at a river to drink water. He found some military tags. When blood dripped on his hand, he looked up and saw an old helicopter crash in a tree. The dead pilot was holding a gun. Martin used a stick to get it down, and took the gun without telling anyone. Meanwhile, Xavier found Teresa. Soon, Reuben and Isabella found them too. Together they swam until they found a cave that led to the island. They saw the beautiful view and found old pipes from the InGen labs. Reuben remembered the team talking about buildings, so they followed the pipes to find them. Isabella looked behind a plant and found a very small aqualops. Reuben said it was safe because it only ate plants, but Teresa scared it away. Xavier tried to pull down a plant and a dinosaur roared nearby, so they went the other way. When night came, they stopped to rest by a fire. After Xavier left to pee, the aqualops came back and Isabella woke up. She gave it some food and the aqualops slept next to her. While Xavier was peeing, he didn't hear two velociraptors coming up behind him until they were attacked by a mutant dinosaur. Xavier stayed very still while the beasts fought. He even stopped peeing. When the dinosaurs left, he finally finished. In the morning, Zora's team reached a valley where they followed sounds until they found many Titanosauruses. Two were mating, so Henry thought they were busy and got close enough to touch one's leg, which made him cry with joy. Everything was calm with the plant eaters, so Zora easily shot her dart and got the blood sample. Back with the family, they moved slowly because Reuben's leg was hurt. The aqualops kept following them, so Isabella named it Dolores and put it in her bag, saying she would take it home as a pet. When they moved forward, they didn't see the hill behind a big tree and they all fell, rolling down for several minutes until they landed near the river. Reuben smelled something bad and a scared Dolores ran away. Looking across the river, they saw an old shed. Teresa saw a boat and volunteered to get it. She got in the water and easily crossed to the other side, where she found a half-eaten dinosaur body. Suddenly, a Dilophosaurus jumped out and roared at Teresa before running away. It turns out it's scared of the T-Rex sleeping in the bushes. Teresa makes sure not to make noise while entering the shed, startling a bunch of bats that fly away. The boat she saw before it's broken, but thankfully there's a bag with an emergency raft. On the opposite shore, Dolores reappears and Isabella tries to get it to leave by throwing food. Teresa brings the emergency raft to the river and doesn't hear her family's whispers when they tell her not to open it. She pulls the lever and the raft is instantly inflated with so much noise that the T-Rex wakes up. For now, the beast is looking in another direction, so Teresa gets on the raft and desperately paddles until she reunites with her family. The others get on the raft too, and Dolores is left behind. At that moment, the T-Rex finally sees them and starts chasing after them. The family paddles as quickly as possible and are shocked to see the T-Rex getting underwater to move faster. The creature soon comes out in front of them, throwing the raft and causing the group to fall into the water. This part of the river has strong currents that push Reuben fast enough for him to dodge all of the T-Rex's attacks. He swims towards some rocks and hides with Teresa and Xavier, but Isabella is missing. Her screaming indicates she's hiding under the raft, which the T-Rex is now trying to bite. Its teeth can't tear the plastic, so it picks it up and shakes it around, looking for its prey. Luckily, Isabella manages to get away before the raft is picked up, and she rushes to reunite with her family. The T-Rex chases after her. However, the group hides behind the rocks, and the space between them is too narrow for the dinosaur to go through. It gives up and walks away, while the currents bring the raft to the family. After many hours of climbing, Zora's team makes it to the top of a cliff. The Quetzalcoatlus is a flying carnivore and too dangerous to approach. Instead, they'll take the sample from an egg. Leclerc has experience with rappelling, so he goes down to the nest pretty easily, but Henry needs to gather some courage first. Zora soon follows and teases him when he holds onto the rocks in fear. At the top, Duncan is securing the ropes when he sees a little dinosaur run by. He takes a closer look and discovers that the small creature has entered an ancient temple. Suddenly, Henry's rope slips and he starts falling, but Duncan grabs the rope and saves him just in time. The trio keeps going down until they reach a cave. However, they're shocked to realize this is also part of the temple. There's a big nest in the middle, and Henry starts working on taking the sample without hurting the baby. While waiting, Zora asks Henry what he'd do with the samples. He explains he wants the cure to be open source so everyone can produce it and save millions of lives.
We open source it. We give it to the whole world.
On the side of the cliff, Leclerc is securing the ropes and sees the Quetzalcoatlus mother come back to the nest. He yelled to warn the others, who ran to hide behind stone pillars just before the dinosaur attacked. Henry got trapped in a corner, so Zora yelled to get the beast's attention, while Henry tried to get the blood sample, but the Quetzalcoatlus kicked, and the vial got stuck under it. Then Leclerc threw a tool at the creature's head, making it move. He called for help, so Duncan and Martin started pulling ropes to lift him up. The dinosaur went after him, so Henry could grab the vial. But the dinosaur was also pulling his rope by mistake, and Henry slid out of the temple until he was hanging over the cliff. Zora got pulled too, but she used her legs to stop sliding at the edge and held the rope so Henry could climb back up. During the fight, the vial slipped and fell to a lower ledge. Ignoring Zora's warnings that the rope might break, Henry started swinging until he got the vial back. On top of the cliff, Duncan and Martin were still pulling, but they got scared when the Quetzalcoatlus appeared with Leclerc's body in its mouth. After the beast ate their friend, it started chasing them, moving fast to block their way. With the sample case in hand, Martin and Duncan ran downstairs to hide in the temple. The rope broke and Henry fell into the river. He swam to shore and saw Duncan and Martin coming out of a secret temple door, while Zora climbed down using ropes. The sample landed near Henry without breaking because of its parachute. Now they could finally go home. In the evening, the family left their raft when they found the InGen buildings. They screamed for help, and Zora's team followed their voices, so both groups finally met. Teresa immediately told them what Martin did, so he pulled out the gun to keep everyone away while saying the girl was lying.
She's lying.
Then Martin took the case with the samples and handcuffed it to his wrist. Isabella heard a strange noise, and Henry realized it was the generator, which must be on a timer. After a dinosaur roared, the lights turned on, and music started playing inside the gas station. Suddenly, 2 mutant dinosaurs came out and started chasing the group. The humans ran, and the group split up. The family ended up inside the gas station, where Ruben and Xavier held the door closed as a mutant kept hitting it. They pushed a shelf against the door before moving on, but Isabella went back when she found Dolores. The mutant broke a hole in the ceiling and burst into the station, so Isabella grabbed Dolores and hid in the fridge. The dinosaur came closer and kept roaring at the fridge, so the rest of the family threw things to distract it. Isabella used the chance to come out and carefully move back to her family. While they hid behind the shelves, Ruben followed the water and found a hatch. By the time the mutant came to their spot, the family had already gone into a tunnel. The other mutant chased Henry and Duncan, who ran into a lab. They pushed the door closed and locked it to keep the beast out. Henry realized this was the room where all the crossbreeding and mutations happened. There was even a specimen inside a tank. Duncan looked at a map and learned there was a tunnel system under the whole island that could take them to a boat at the docks. The first mutant went after Zora outside, and she ran fast enough to hide under a jeep with Martin. He shot at the dinosaur but missed every shot. The mutant came close enough to grab Martin and threw him over the jeep. Martin held on to the sample case and dropped his gun, which Zora picked up. At that moment, the rescue helicopter arrived, but they couldn't see anyone. Martin got in the jeep and started driving away, so Zora ran to hide. The mutant tried to stop him, but the vehicle pushed it away and kept going. The beast then heard the family's voices in the tunnels, so it lifted a drain cover and started climbing down. Zora saw this and followed it. Meanwhile, the helicopter was getting ready to leave.
Okay, I'm gonna call it. Let's head home.
Henry and Duncan left the lab through a tunnel, and Henry shot a flare to get the helicopter's attention. The helicopter turned around, but when it was about to land, a mutated T-Rex called Distortus Rex came out and bit it before throwing it on the ground, causing a big explosion. Then Duncan heard the family's voices, so he also lifted a drain cover for him and Henry to join them. Suddenly Zora appeared next to them and shot just in time to kill the mutant appearing at the other end of the tunnel. Duncan guided the group through the tunnels to reach the docks, but the exit was blocked by a gate. As the mutants appeared above them, Isabella squeezed through the bars and ran to the control panel. In her bag, Dolores made noise to warn her about the coming T-Rex. Isabella was scared, but heard her family screaming and focused on using the panel to open the gate. The T-Rex was about to enter the tunnel when it heard Martin arriving in the Jeep. The monster stopped the vehicle with its huge paw, and the group used the distraction to leave the tunnel. The second mutant tried to follow them, but Zora closed the gate to keep it trapped. The T-Rex grabbed Martin and started eating him, causing him to drop the case with his cut-off hand. Zora quickly took it before running with the others to reach the boat, but the crane holding the boat was stuck. The T-Rex appeared and came after Isabella, so Henry explained that it was attracted to lights. Duncan lit a flare and moved back to keep the T-Rex's attention on him so the others could escape.
Come on!
Save them!
He even jumped into the water, moving away from the docks until the T-Rex cornered him. Zora cut the crane chain to release the boat, and the group jumped on it, but they couldn't start the engine. The T-Rex came back and jumped to attack, but Reuben started the boat just in time, and the group escaped from the island. As they crossed the sea, they saw a flare in the sky and followed it to rescue Duncan. In the morning, Reuben noticed that Isabella still had Dolores. Zora asked Henry about the samples, and they agreed they would share them with everyone. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.